vertebrates, they have the craniates because they have eyes and teeth centered on their head area, and they have a notochord because we have soft body preservation with a notochord, and I think now they are classified as basal vertebrates, as basal vertebrates.
But not that long.
But the only known
well, some of them could have gotten that long. Some of them,
but Phil, the only known complete conodonts in the entire world come from Scotland.
They're finding. Oh, maybe the original ones that were preserved in the church, but they're finding these apparatuses together in black shales like this. Not necessarily these, but the Mecca Quarry Shale in Illinois.
But the rest of the body
Wolf-covered bridge, southeast of Galesburg, is a place where they collected stuff. And then on bedding planes, they'll find apparatuses because the ones I described are the big conodonts that we look at. But then they have, these are just the grinding part of a whole series of bars and ramiform elements that were in this feeding apparatus.
And they didn't find a complete one until what, the early 80s, late 70s?
Yeah, early 80s, 83 or something.
They've been finding the little teeth for decades. And there was a huge,
over 100 years.
ongoing debate over what the heck they were.
But
they were
wasn't
all
it
kinds
that
of
there was
theories.
a specimen in Scotland that was preserved and nobody knew what it was until somebody went back through the drawers and said, "Oh my God, this is this sort
and they
of thing."
had the teeth because when you see conodont elements, you see spoon-shaped elements, you see cone-shaped elements, and when you look at them, you go, "What? How does all this work?" And the spoon-shaped elements, I think they found wear on them, and they're like our molars. They're used for grinding, and they believe that some of the ones that look like combs or rakes were filtering. And I think that and again, feel free to correct me, but I think the teeth are in their throat, so they would suck in food, grind it up in their throat. And these were filters. So they also had some of the elements filtered out food, and so they grind it up. Some of them served as filters, and that's how they ate. And that's, I think, the leading idea. Now the conodonts are most close related to hagfish and lampreys, and some of the reconstructions are the ones with the bug eyes, and they're cute. And some of them are reconstructed to look like hagfish or lampreys.
They're not so cute.
Although the author did say we do regret because the other reconstruction's so cute, but this one they're kind of ugly looking. So that they are probably related to hagfish and lampreys, but they're very prolific. I mean, they first appeared in the Cambrian, and they've persisted into the Triassic.
So what other fossils are we going to find in the rocks around here?
Chuck.
Well, the interesting thing about the fossils here is Tom told the kind of broader picture of sea level rising and falling, and you can really follow that with the kinds of fossils we see. If you look at the core, the basal limestone we're looking at here is the Bethany Falls, and that's shallow water limestone. And one of the big things you can see in the Bethany Falls are phyllowate algae pieces, and these were. It's algae, but it's not like a little kind of pond scum like you might think of algae being. Probably they were actually sort of stalks or maybe cup shapes, which were present in really large quantities on the seafloor. And there's been some debate off and on about just how much of a role these things might have played in actually forming sort of large-scale topographic features on the ocean floor. Definitely you can find large mounds in some places which have a substantial phyllowate algae component. And when you see them, I guess maybe Bethany Falls is over there, is what Greg said, so you might have a chance to see them. At first glance, they look like they might be kind of really thin oyster shells. They're kind of potato chip shaped, or when people talk about these in the literature, for some reason they love to compare them to food. So they've been called potato crisps or cornflakes. But probably when they broke down, they probably created a whole bunch of carbonate, which was actually incorporated in the rocks. But you can also find these kind of algae leaves themselves. And I don't know.
Can I interject real quick? A lot of the, when you see limestones, a lot of the lime mud that is used is actually organic. So it's broken up pieces of algae and broken up shell pieces. Like when I was in Belize, they had white sand beaches, and the white sand was actually broken up algae
Yeah.
and broken up shell pieces. And so a lot of this is biogenic in origin, whereas